Turn 5 racing back at Desoto Speedway. What a big night of racing we had. It was the season finale of the Bright House Challenge Series Super Late Models. We had a tight points race coming into tonight. Joe Boyd, Jesse Dutilli competing for the points championship in the final race of the season. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Big 50-lap race in the Sunbelt Rentals of Fort Myers Street Stocks tonight. We had the Bombers, the Modified Minis, and the LKQ Pick Your Part Pure Stocks all in action tonight. But before we get you to tonight's highlights, let's send it back to the pits for some interviews with some of our drivers. Turn 5 racing, we're back here in the pits at Desoto Speedway with super late model driver Chris Fontaine. Now, Chris, before we talk about Big Jack Smith Memorial 100 night, we got to go back to last weekend. You had an awesome run in the Camper World Truck Series last week. Come home from Talladega with a 7th place finish, and you had a shot to win the thing there at the end. You know, you were one good push away there at the end, and I hear you talking earlier, if they would have been running to Daytona, you could have got maybe a 2nd or 3rd place finish. Just tell us how awesome that weekend was and what the experience was like.
The whole run NASCAR thing is exciting, and running at Daytona and Talladega is really special to me. That's just the kind of racing I love to do. It's really fast, and being able to draft and do that kind of stuff is really exciting. It evens the playing field for small guys like us. It was exciting coming off turn 4. I thought we might could have get it. Nobody went with me, and I guess that's just because I'm not there every weekend. They didn't know who I was, but we'll go try it again in Daytona, and maybe we can get a win there. But tonight we got to concentrate on the super late model. I think we might have something for them tonight. We've changed a few things. Car was fast in practice. We're going to try one more thing, and maybe it can get a little better and see if we can get a good pill draw in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, you go from the 2.66 mile, the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, and now you're out here running the 3/8 mile here, or the 3/8 mile here at DeSoto. What's that transition like going from? You know, I mean, you're pushing 200 miles last week, and now you're maybe hitting 130 here in the corners here. What is the transition like going from Talladega to just jumping back in the late model like that? Is it kind of difficult to get your bearings back a little bit?
It's definitely easier to come back to here. It's a little slower, but things still happen fast. But going 200 miles an hour is by yourself isn't bad, but when you put us all in a pack, we end up 3 wide and you're in the middle, it starts getting real hairy. So transition to here isn't too bad, but going back to Daytona or Talladega is pretty exciting.
Yeah, you had a good, pretty up-close view there of some pretty big wrecks there last week at Talladega. The big one happens on the backstretch right in front of you. You were saying you don't have anything you can do, but you're able to work your way through that. And then there was an incident coming in the trioval. What were you seeing from all that, and what can you really do? Is there any type of reaction you can get out of that?
Sometimes I can sometimes, I guess, kind of predict it. You can tell if a guy is moving around too much in the air and if his truck's not handling right. And just looking as far ahead as you can, and then once you see cars going sideways and smoke, just get out of the gas and kind of point to openings. Sometimes you make it, and there's been plenty of times where I didn't make it. So I got lucky this race, and hopefully I can carry that in through Daytona and through tonight.
Yeah, we got a big 100-lap race. You've run very competitively. You had a really fast car every time you've come to DeSoto this year, but yet to pick up a victory here at the track. How big would it be, as we're closing out the Bright House Challenge Series tonight, how big would it be to pick up a win to end the season?
Oh, it'd be great. This is the place where I won my first race and where I've won the most races up until this year. So this is one of my favorite places to race. You can race on the top and the bottom and look to pass on both of them and try and get that first victory of the year here.
All right, well, Chris, good luck tonight. We got 100 laps with the Bright House Challenge Series, and Chris, congratulations on a great top 10 run at Talladega last week in the Camping World Truck Series, and we're looking forward to seeing you running here tonight as well as Daytona again in February. And thank you, as always, for joining us here on Turn 5. We appreciate it. Turn 5 racing, we're joined with Joe Boyd here, the points leader coming in tonight in the Bright House Challenge Series. Joe, you started off the year with a big win in the Icebreaker 100, and here we are at the season finale. Haven't looked back. You've carried the points lead all season. What do you think about your chances of picking up a win here to end the season as well?
Yeah, that'd be nice. You know, that's what we're working for. We got a good car tonight, and yeah, win the first one, win the last one. That'd be great.
Now, I'm not very much of a math guy, but I know you guys have probably been crunching some numbers. Obviously, you're going to go out there trying to look for the win, but have you guys thought about, if we don't have that car that can necessarily win, do you know what you have to run to try to maintain that points lead to make sure you get out of here with the championship tonight?
Yeah, we've got to run 9th or better if Jesse was to win the race. Is what we're figuring on, but hopefully we don't have to be in that position.
Yeah, now you've been running well in this series. Been running here at the local DeSoto points as well. I mean, how would you look at your year so far? How would you rate your season up to this point? Still got the last race here for the Bright House Challenge Series. Still got one more run here with the DeSoto Points Series. How do you think your year has gone overall? How would you grade yourself?
Yeah, I think it's been one of the best seasons we had. At one point in time we were leading both points, here and the Bright House Series, but a few more wins would have been nice, but we've been very consistent all year long, and you can't complain about that.
Well, Joe, good luck to you tonight. It's the Big Jack Smith Memorial Race here tonight, 100 laps. Joe's looking to win. He's got the win from the Icebreaker 100 to start the year. He's looking to pick up one more victory here and wrap up the championship in the Bright House Challenge Series. Turn 5 racing. We're back here in the pits getting ready for the Jack Smith Memorial 100 Super Late Model Race with the Bright House Challenge Series. Joined by Jeff Schofield. Jeff, you've had some great success so far this year running locally here at DeSoto, yet to pick up a win with the Bright House Series. But you've been awful fast the last few times out here, including a pretty epic bump and run there at the end. Tell us how your season's been going and how big it would be to pick up a win here to end the year in the Bright House Series.
It's been doing pretty good, yeah. We've only ran, I think, a couple of Bright House races, so we hadn't had the opportunities yet. But we've been pretty fast with the car, been done a plumbing and all that's been helping us out quite a bit. So car's been pretty strong. Everything kind of played in our favor a little bit. We're not the fastest out of the hole, but at the end of the race we've been holding off where it matters. Tonight's a 100-lapper, so that ought to help me out better. Everybody else will kind of fall off the wheel, and hopefully we'll be there at the end. Maybe we'll pick one up tonight.
Now, as the season's progressed here, your son Tyler started running out here at DeSoto. What have you seen from him? Picked up a top 5 finish earlier this year at DeSoto. What do you see his progression so far, transitioning and starting to run here at DeSoto more?
Doing pretty good. I've got running here and showtime a little bit back and forth, so seat time's everything for him right now at this point. So it's messing his driving ability up a little bit, trying to go from track to track, short track to a medium track, but it's definitely being good. He's keeping the fenders on it, finishing every race. Can't ask for much more at this point.
And we're gonna look for you to try to continue your hot streak here. You've been running really well. What do you think the cars felt like today, and as we transition into running here tonight for 100 laps?
It's going to be tricky tonight. The weather changed last night. We practiced pretty late with the cool weather. The temperature changed in the track with the tires and all that. So everybody's going to have their hands full. I watched it today out there in practice as well as us. There's not a lot of forward bite out there, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be who can manage their equipment, who'll hang on and wait until the end of the race to prevail with it. So I think it's going to be an interesting show for sure.
All right, well, that's Jeff Schofield, driver of the number 6 car. Keep an eye on him tonight as he'll look to pick up the victory. The Jack Smith Memorial 100. Also, check out his son Tyler in the 07 car as well. Turn 5 racing. We're back here in the pits with driver the number 91 Street Stock. Andrew Jackson comes in tonight, the points leader. Big 50-lap race tonight for you guys. A lot of money on the line. This is pretty much your biggest race of the year so far. What do you think your chances are tonight in picking up a victory?
I'd like to think they're pretty good, meeting the points. Been fortunate enough to show up every week. Been financially prepared to come all year. That's been a big one. Let's have some fun tonight, and hopefully we get a good qualifying spot, pull a good draw. If that doesn't work, then we'll have to come in the back and put on a show for all the fans.
I mean, you've had a pretty solid year. You've gone to victory lane a few times this year, and it's got to feel pretty good coming into a big race tonight, not having to worry about points. You can just go out there and try and get the win and bring home the money. Is that what it's all about tonight, just getting that checkered flag?
It is. We set out on a deal to do this point thing this year with a partner of ours, Southwest Lawn Service. But tonight, we've got a pretty decent points lead already. We've had a pretty solid year. Tonight is definitely, it would be nice to bring home the big race. $1,000 to win, only one all year. It'd be nice.
We got a lot of good cars here this week, too. The Street Stocks have had, some really good shows with a lot of cars, and then there's been some times where haven't had too many showing up. But tonight, everybody's come out, not only a lot of cars, but good quality cars. And this has been a fast car all year, so where do you think you're stacking up tonight?
As far as time trials there, we'll see. We'll see if we can go lay down a lap. I had to stopwatch out in warm-ups. There's a couple good cars here. You got Dennis Wilson. He's back. He's been missing in action here for a little bit. Always enjoy racing that gentleman. Bobby Fisher, he's real fast, so just keep the fenders on it and put on a show and have some fun.
All right, that's Andrew Jackson. He's going to look to stretch that points lead, but most importantly, he's looking to pick up that trophy tonight as the Street Stocks go for 50 laps tonight at the high banks of DeSoto Speedway. Turn 5 racing. We're back here with driver of the number 6 modified Mini, Dave Davis. Now, Dave, it's been kind of an interesting practice so far. You're out running laps earlier, and then you come in here. What all's gone on today?
Well, we've had trouble with this motor all year long. We finally got it back together. Went out and took a few hot laps, and it looks like it blew the head gasket. So we came here, and one of the other drivers from another car, Dean Buttram, has offered to give me a motor to run tonight. So now we're in the process of swapping out motors, and we'll go out and do the best we can.
Where are you guys in the process right now of getting it put back together? About how close are you guys to being race ready so far tonight?
We're probably about a half hour out. We got the exhaust to put back on and a couple other items, but we're getting pretty close to going back out and running some hot laps to see how we're doing.
Now, I mean, Dean Buttram's been running really well, so I mean, you're getting one of those engines, you're getting a pretty quality engine here, so you think you got a shot at maybe going after a win tonight, or are you just going to try to keep it to hold together and get the car out there and just run in general?
Well, I haven't been out here since May, so I'm going to go out here and just kind of run it in general. I mean, if I can go to the front, I'll go to the front, but, right now, Dean and those guys are running pretty stout, so, if I can run with them, then I'll be good to go.
All right, well, Dave, we appreciate you coming on here. We know you got a lot of work to do getting this car put back together, but keep an eye on Dave Davis in the number 6 in the modified mini class here at DeSoto Speedway. Once again tonight, we had a great night with the Junior Fan Club tonight. It featured drivers from our 50-lap feature Sunbelt Reynolds of Fort Myers Street Stock class. We had the 2 of Bobby Fisher, the 33 of Brian Teeters, the 77 of James D'Elia III, and the 6 of James Nanny. Thank you to our drivers for participating in the Junior Fan Club and for all the kids coming out. Hope they had a great time. We love having the Junior Fan Club out here at DeSoto Speedway. Turn 5 Racing is presented by Dean's Tree Service. You know, this time of year in Florida, we've got to be wary of the potential for hurricanes. The last thing you want is the risk of damaging your home and property. Dean's Tree Service specializes in large and dangerous tree removals for prepping for hurricane season. From tree trimming and removal to pruning and hauling, stump grinding, lot clearing, storm cleanup, and even mulching. Dean's Tree Service, 24-hour service from licensed and insurance professionals who guarantee to beat any written estimate. Call Dean's Tree Service at 941-650-8114. That's 941-650-8114. And be sure to tell them you heard about it on Turn 5 Racing. Well, a big night tonight in the Bright House Challenge Series as we had the Jack Smith Memorial Race for the 100-lapper for the Bright House Challenge Series. Joining me is Rick Angie's our track announcer here at DeSoto Speedway. And Rick, started working with Karnak there with Jack. This was a big night for you being here. And also joining us tonight is our winner tonight of the Jack Smith Memorial, the 100-lapper, and not only the winner of the race tonight, but we're sitting next to the 2014 Bright House Series Challenge Series champion here. Jesse, you came in tonight, thinking, we just got to go win the race. Points don't really matter. We're going to go try and run the race. Joe Boyd came in the points leader, but, he had to try to work his way through that and try to run up in the front, and problems happened to him tonight, and you were able to capitalize on that. You smoked the field, fast qualifier again here at DeSoto. Congratulations, big win for you tonight, and congratulations on the championship. This has got to feel great.
Thank you. It's awesome. Win a traveling series points championship. We've ran a couple last couple years. This one is by far more prestigious, I would think. But we came in tonight. I knew we had to win the race. Joe had a decent lead and really just needed to maintain to get through the night. So I really wasn't worried about the points too much. I knew we had to go out and win the race. Joe was really fast, and I expected that to happen. And we had a good race there for a bit, and then he suffered some problems with his car. Like I said, we had to try to win the race, so we were thrown down to win the race, and wherever it ended up. So we had issues this entire points series between our fuel cell leaking in a race and flat tires and whatnot. So, I mean, it's interesting how many problems people have had in the short amount of races there were with the 6-race series.
Seems like it kind of worked out there in your favor there. You had some good runs here at the end of the season. But now I want to turn to Rick. Rick, this was a big night for you with your friend Jack there. Tell us about who Jack was and what he meant to late model racing and just racing in general here in the state of Florida.
Well, Jack basically changed the landscape of racing in Florida. I mean, we started Karnak. He started Karnak, and it wasn't going to be a racing site. It was just going to be a news site. But he started Karnak.com. He came out to the races, and the fever bit him, and we just started working together. My first ever press pass was right here at Desoto Speedway, the old ASA series. Jimmy Johnson was racing that weekend. That's when the track got tore up. And from there, Jack and I just went on a blitz. I mean, we just hit every racetrack. We ended up hooking up with Ken Kenny in the United Dirt Late Model Challenge Series. That was fun. We did that. We just put, 1 million miles on his old Riviera from Hialeah up to Alabama. I mean, we just went everywhere and did everything we could to further the community of racing. That's what Karnak was all about. It was about the community of racing, building a community, and we did. I mean, through the years, all the people that have been there, the OSFs and Frassen and all those guys, I mean, it's just gone from a little tiny website to, enormous. And then 3 years ago, we lost Jack. Scott McAllister and I are trying to keep Karnak going. Of course, we both got full-time jobs. But Jack's wife was here. Jack's daughter was here. And I was really, really happy when, Jimmy called me up because, the race was going to be at Citrus, and I wouldn't be able to be there because I've got to be here. And told me we were taking over the race. Now, a short time, I didn't have a whole lot of time to get it promoted and do things that I wanted to do. But next year, we're going to build it up, and we're going to make it bigger. And Jack would be smiling right now. I mean, Jack was a humble man, but he always spoke his mind. And as Bob knows, you could call him any time of the night. He was a night owl, and he touched so many people's life. And I was just proud to have been able to work with him and still work with Karnak.com. And it's just been a pleasure. It's got me from being a fan in the stands, driving race cars. Jesse used to help me set up my figure 8 car. I mean, it goes way back, but I went from that to now I'm here. I've been at DeSoto Speedway since 2001 as the announcer. We did radio, we did TV. Bob joined us on the United Dirt Late Model Challenge Series. So, it's been a great ride.
Well, tonight, I mean, with Jesse picking up this championship here, you've been out here, you've been the track announcer forever. I can remember watching him running in mini stocks, and now he's the Bright House Challenge Series champion. Joined some pretty illustrious company there: B.J. McLeod, Travis Cope, Dave Rogers, previous champions. What can you tell about the drive it's taken from Jesse as a mini stock driver, working his way up through and now being the Bright House champion?
Persistence. Jesse Dutilli has persistence, man. He's calm behind the wheel. We were talking a little bit earlier about when he missed the shift, and how he can back out of it real quick so he doesn't float the valves, get it back in gear. And he knows the racetracks. You can just tell he's smooth. One heck of a race car driver, and I'm proud to call him a friend. Because he's come a long way, and now he's the champion.
Well, Jesse, now you wrapped up the Bright House Championship tonight, but you still got another championship you're looking to wrap up, specifically here at DeSoto Speedway. You guys are going to be back here in 2 weeks. You got a pretty comfortable points lead, but I just, if I know you're coming for the checkered flag, so you're going to probably bring it here this last race. What do you think it's going to be? How cool is it going to be to possibly wrap up 2 late model championships and both have them get wrapped up here at DeSoto, your home track?
Well, that's great. I couldn't be happier about that. We do have a pretty comfortable lead with the DeSoto Speedway Super Late Model Champion. We are going to come and we are going to run the race, and we don't go to the racetrack try to run second. Neither does anybody else, but that's why we all come, and we're going to give it our best effort. The Integrity Transmission Carbon Motorsports SS is really fast here lately, and due to all the hard work of all of us at the shop there, Cameron Cruz and Kenny Gibson and my brother Jeff, and I can't wait. So it should be good.
All right, well, it was an awesome night of racing. Thanks to both of you guys for joining us. Rick, thanks for coming on here with us. I know Jack would probably be smiling down right now, really happy to see how this race turned out. It was a great race. And Jesse, 2014 Bright House Challenge Series champion. Come on out in 2 weeks. He'll be back out here trying to wrap up the DeSoto Speedway Championship with the Turner Tree and Landscape Super Late Models. That'll be November 8th. Now, as our season begins to wind down here in 2014, we at Turn 5, we're already starting to look ahead to next season in 2015. And if you're looking to grow your business or spread the word about your business, we are looking for sponsors for next year for the 2015 season. If you're interested in joining Turn 5 Racing, you can look up Bob Culbertson. You can contact him on Facebook or for the number provided here for Florida Video Service if you're looking to jump on board with Turn 5 Racing. Each and every week between 300 and 600 views a week to get your business out there and grow your business. If you're looking to join Turn 5 Racing, we'd love to have you on board. Today we kick things off with 15 laps with the Modified Minis. 93 car Jeff Firestein looking to wrap up the Modified Mini Championship. Early on, he'd get by the 32 of Dean Buttram. Then the 6 car of Dave Davis running third. Davis, he blew an engine in practice, but he was able to borrow a motor from Dean Buttram and get the 6 car on track. On the first lap, Buttram and Firestein, or on the final lap there, Buttram and Firestein, they're making things interesting, but the 93 car, Jeff Firestein, nips him by a nose at the line, scores the victory, and then the 32 of Dean Buttram will finish second. The 6 of Dave Davis comes home third. That win tonight all but wraps up the championship for Firestein. Then it was the season finale for the Bright House Challenge Series, Jack Smith Memorial 100. Number 5, Joe Boyd leads Jesse Dutilli and Rich Klauser in the points. Boyd won the season opener Icebreaker 100 here at DeSoto and hasn't looked back. The 30 of Jesse Dutilli, fast qualifier tonight with a lap of 14.710. He pulled P1 in the pill draw, and he would start first. Joe Boyd starting second, so things should get interesting. On the start, Dutilli, he can't get going, and Boyd takes the top spot. Boyd and Dutilli would pull away first and second when a caution on lap 15 would come out as the 4 of Dennis Coletti would spin in 1 and 2. On the restart, Boyd would hold the lead. The 20 of Anthony Sergi would get by the 9 of Rich Klauser to take over third. On a lap 23 restart, Dutilli would get by Boyd for the lead. The 28D of TJ Duke, he would have problems, would pull off the track, but then immediately he would return. Lap 33, we've got the 47 of Chris Fontaine. Chris finished 7th last weekend in the Camping World Truck Series race at Talladega. He would crack the top 5. Hot on his wheels would be the 6 of Jeff Schofield, a 2-time DeSoto winner this season. Lap 46, we got a big wreck. Turn 5 correspondent, the 42, Troy McNabb, with hard contact into the outside wall, coming right at Bob. 32 of Harold Crooms, he would also be involved. Both drivers were okay, and glad to learn that Troy was fine. At the halfway point, Dutilli was leading over Joe Boyd, Anthony Sergi running third, Chris Fontaine in fourth, and Jeff Schofield wrapping out the top 5. Caution comes out on lap 63 is the 5X of Steve Gill. He'd blow an engine, he'd get spun around in his own oil and go for a spin off of turn 4, ending his night. On the restart, Schofield takes 4th from Fontaine, while up front it's still the 30 of Dutilli. Caution would come out then on lap 74 as the 10 of George Gorham would get spun off of turn 4. 28D of TJ Duke would then go to the rear. Lap 76, just prior to the caution coming out, Joe Boyd would get by Dutilli to retake the lead, but then chaos on the restart as Joe Boyd doesn't have a very good restart. Field gets all bunched up into turn 1, and the 77 of Scott Walters would go for a spin. On the restart, Dutilli gets by, gets the lead, brings Schofield into second, and this is when problems would strike for Joe Boyd. Something goes wrong on the 5 car, makes contact with Dylan Bigley. Bigley would spin into turn 3 and 4. Joe Boyd starts leaking some kind of fluid. He has problems, and that is going to end his night. A tough break for the points leader, so that would open the door for Dutilli to try to claim the championship. With 15 laps to go, Jeff Schofield would get side by side with Anthony Sergi for second and gets the spot. Caution comes out on lap 89 as George Gorham Jr. and Dylan Bigley would get together, setting up an 11-lap shootout. Dutilli and Schofield to fight it out for the win and a championship on the line for Dutilli. Dutilli gets a great restart, pulls ahead of Schofield, and Chris Fontaine begins to battle with Anthony Sergi for third. Give the spot to Sergi. Dutilli smooth sailing, 4 to go. Scott Walters blows a right front tire. He loses it, makes contact with the wall. 4 laps to decide it all. Great restart by Dutilli. Sergi and Fontaine would tangle behind him, and then Fontaine gets into the 28D of TJ Duke and spins it. So can you say green, white checker, 2 laps left, Dutilli gets the jump, Sergi gets past Schofield for second, and Dutilli does it. He wins the Jack Smith Memorial 100 and the Bright House Challenge Series 2014 Championship. What a great race tonight and a great drive by the Carbone Motorsports team of Jesse Dutilli. Anthony Sergi in the 20 would come home second, and a third place finish for the 6 of Jeff Schofield. Then it was 50 laps with the Sunbelt Rentals of Fort Myers Street Stocks. Andrew Jackson, our points leader, was fast qualifier, and he elected to go to the rear to try win an extra $200 tonight. 42 of Dennis Wilson Jr. returned to action in the Street Stocks. Open wheel modified driver and pro truck driver Nick Hernandez was behind the wheel of number 45. That's Mike Caravan's new Street Stock. Hernandez, he gets up front, while Wilson Jr. and the 6 of James Nanny would battle it out, give Nanny the spot on lap 19. Nick Hernandez goes on to dominate and picks up a win in his 3rd different division this year. James Nanny would finish 2nd, and the 42 of Dennis Wilson Jr. finishes 3rd in his return to the Street Stocks. LKQ Pick Your Part Pure Stocks in action for 25 laps. Dwayne and Jimmy Best battling out for the points lead. 63 car Kyle Best would lead early, but soon his dad and his uncle, the 67 of Jimmy Best, would get by, move Kyle back to 3rd. On the restart, Dwayne Best has the 3 car up front, and his brother Jimmy Best all over the rear bumper in hot pursuit of the race lead. But the 3 of Dwayne Best would hold off a late charge to score a crucial win. The 67 Jimmy Best finishes 2nd. The 63 of Kyle Best 3rd completes the Best Racing sweep. And rounding out the night, we had 12 laps with the Bombers. Joining them tonight were the Cowboy Cadillacs. Early on the 75, Carl Thompson would go side by side with the 10 of Tristan Collins and the 63 of James Wright. Number 1, Jeff Firestein, winner from the Modified Minis earlier tonight, jumps out front. Soon he'd have the 75 of Thompson and the 63 of Wright right behind him to challenge for the lead, but Jeff Firestein would hold on, dominates, picks up the win. The 75 of Carl Thompson 2nd, and the 63 James Wright 3rd. Well, big night of racing at Desoto Speedway has come to an end tonight. The Bright House Challenge Series Championship has been decided, and local driver the number 30 Carbone Motorsports car, Jesse Dutilli, is the 2014 champion. Congratulations to him on a great 2014 campaign. Speaking of season finales, we got a heck of a weekend coming up next Saturday night. We have the season finale 75-lap feature event for the Joey Coulter's Fellows Truck Broker Florida Pro Truck Series. They'll go for 75 laps. Championship on the line. Becca Monopoly, Steve Darvalix, Brent Huber, and the rest of the Joey Coulter Series drivers will look to close out their 2014 campaign. And that's not the only big race next week. We had the TBARA Wing Sprints here last week, where they're going to be back to wrap up their season. 18-car Shane Butler looks to wrap up their championship. He was the winner the last 2 times out here at DeSoto. He'll look to keep that streak going on, and then it gets even better. The JD Byrider Open Wheel Modified 75-lap shootout will take place next Saturday night under the lights of DeSoto Speedway. We are expecting a huge field of Open Wheel Modifieds, and it will be a great show. Lots of supporting classes will be out here as well next week. It's going to be a great night of racing, and it's going to be the night after Halloween, so it's going to be trick-or-treat night. Going to have the kids come on out in their Halloween costumes, get a chance to trick-or-treat with the drivers. It's going to be a great week. We're really looking forward to it. The season's starting to wind down here. Get on out to the track a little early next week. We will have happy hour from 5 to 6:30, $2 draft beers at the bar. Big thanks to Denny Meyer and Jimmy Cope once again for this awesome race facility and what's been a great season so far. We still got a few more weeks left. We're starting to wrap up the season, and we at Turn 5 Racing, we're excited to bring the conclusion to the 2014 season your way. That's Bob Culberson behind the camera, and I'm Jake Wilson. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Turn 5 Racing.